Now, the last time that Dr Alex George was right here, he was talking about the death of his younger brother, who'd been suffering with mental health issues. Well, today, he's back. He's looking at how educating our kids could help prevent similar tragedies.
We are facing a mental health crisis in our classrooms. 10% of children and young people aged 5 to 16 years have clinically diagnosable mental health problems, yet 70% of those experiencing mental health issues have not had appropriate help early enough. This really concerns me, as half of all mental health problems are established by the age of 14. And what's even more worrying is that suicide rates are at their highest in over 2 decades, with men making up over 3/4 of those. For me, what's clear is that we are not being taught enough throughout our school years. I'm catching up with Aaron and Adam, who've had mental health struggles from a young age.
It just sort of slipped through the net. Like, I probably showed telltale signs throughout high school with quite bad anxiety and withdrawing from certain things.
It's a long time from being 11 to sixth form, being alone really, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess I just thought everyone felt like that, and it got to a point where I couldn't just pretend it wasn't there. I had to get some sort of help for it.
I think because at the time I was growing up and I wasn't aware of what was going on, I just assumed that okay, this is how it should be. And then I got to a point once I graduated, had a massive reality check. I'll be honest, had a breakdown.
What were your experiences, at school? Was mental health something that was talked about?
Probably wasn't given a priority as it should be.
The most important thing is early intervention and getting to a stage where if someone is struggling, you tackle it head on as soon as you can before it becomes a massive issue.
It's so clear to me from talking to you that actually we do need to change stuff. It's not in the schools at the moment. So thank you both so much for your time, and take care of yourselves. I mean, it's clear from speaking to Adam and Aaron that not only did they want help and support at schools, but it could have made a difference for their mental health.
So I'm on my way to a high school in Durham to see how they're supporting their children and educating children around mental health.
Is mental health as important as teaching about maths and English and the other subjects?
It's as important, and you cannot teach English and maths without students being in a good place to start with. I also think it's really important that it's done at primary school and that students are doing some really soft work on labelling feelings and emotions. I think if you're old enough to have those feelings, then you're old enough to be taught how to manage them. And we do it now in every single year group, and we do that with trained teachers that are passionate about it.
Nick, I hate to bring money into this, but clearly resources is an important factor here.
There are some things that do cost a lot of money, such as counselling provision. We have counselling here 4 days a week, and we use that quite flexibly.
Are you seeing this benefit at school in what you're doing?
So we're looking at attendance improving. We scale them before they start sessions and at the end to see if their mood has improved, if their anxiety has reduced, if they're sleeping better. If you haven't got good mental health, you're going to struggle to access what's going on in school, but this is one of the main things that can help them be here.
It's clear to see there needs to be more support at schools around mental health. Even from my own experience, losing my little brother Llŷr, I know how important it is that young people are supported and educated when it comes to mental health. We've seen here at this high school what can be done, what should be done. There needs to be change.
There really does. Alex joins me now. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. I'm glad to hear it. That was really eye-opening. It was really good talking to men, because men, as we know, particularly young men, this is a massive, massive problem, and they don't talk about it enough.
No, absolutely. And I thought, Aaron and Adam spoke so articulately about, what happened to them at school and how they actually felt alone. And it's very brave to do that. It's not easy to do that, but so important. And actually, the statistics really back it up, that we really are moving into a mental health, crisis, I think, in schools and around the country. There's recent statistics released showing that there's been over 1.5 million increases in the number of diagnoses or cases of children struggling with the mental health since COVID, and very sadly, a sharp increase in the number of suicides too. So we do have to take it seriously, and speaking with people like Aaron and Adam, just highlights that even more.
No, absolutely, and what's going on at the schools there's all these little pockets of enlightenment, aren't there, which is fantastic. But again, we get people to talk about it, which is absolutely right. We've hauled this kicking and screaming from the shadows, and we talk about it now, but then we need to actually start taking action too.
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see in the school that we visited, there's some fantastic work being done. There's people that are really, really passionate about this. And, you know, there are incredible resources out there with Time to Change, you know, Heads Together, you know, the Royal Highness have done incredible work with their mentally healthy schools. But what we need to happen is to actually integrate that in all schools across the country. So you haven't just got pockets of, you know, good mental health teaching and support, that it's in every single school. In my opinion, every child has a right to good mental health education and mental health support, which means counsellors in every school, education in every school.
Exactly, and help and support.
Yeah, definitely.
You mentioned the royal family. Kate and William in particular have been really groundbreaking with this, and it made, I mean, I remember when they first started talking about it, and it really made us all sort of sit up and think, well, it can absolutely happen to anybody if, you know, they're experiencing it.
Absolutely, and I think it's really powerful having people like this who we all look up to coming out and saying, actually, this really can happen. I think I saw in the news today that Prince Harry's spoken very openly about his struggles at certain times. I think it's so important for men to do this, but what we need to do now is have actual change. Talking is really important, but like you said, what we need to happen is have funding for schools around mental health, specifically for mental health, and to make it a priority. At the moment, there's around the next year, there is the relationship and sex education teaching happening in schools. But my issue with it is, and it's not to criticise that at all, because it's great that we're starting that, but mental health is a part of that rather than a big priority. To me, it should sit alongside maths, English, other subjects. Because unless you're happy and you're healthy, how can you learn? How can you be productive?
No, that's absolutely right. It really is. And I loved what the head teacher was saying, that if you're old enough to experience these feelings, you are obviously old enough to get help. You know, if it's happening to you, then of course you need help. Because some people say, oh, we don't want to be teaching children about that, we don't want to be... But if they're going through it, then of course we do.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the adage, you know, something I've been really thinking about recently is that actually, you know, we all have mental health. It's not 1 in 4 people that are affected by mental health. It's 4 out of 4. We all have times where things are up and down in life. And giving our children the opportunity to have that toolkit, the resource, the ability to understand their thoughts and feelings and look after themselves is important. And when you normalise conversations at schools and you support children, you teach them that actually it's expected to talk about their mental health, then, you know, when they grow up as adults, they're able to cope with that better. They can ask and reach out for help, and we can avoid some of the tragedies that we are seeing.
No, of course, and you've experienced that yourself personally. You know what that's like, you and the family. I think you're remarkable, the way that you're soldiering on and also helping people, because these sort of campaigns, they absolutely save lives.
And I hope they will, and what we need to do next, I really feel, is that we need to speak to the MPs. We need to speak to the people in power, to be honest with you, Lorraine, and make this happen, because I don't want this to be a conversation. I want action. And I want to see changes in the curriculum, I want to see support. So I really hope that we'll be able to speak to some of those people in power to make this happen.
We will not stop until we do, absolutely. You're so right. Thank you. Great to see you always. Thank you very much. Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.